guys? Welcome to this episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett. Chris isn't here today. I got Matt Double Deuce here. I got Tanner the Head. We got our show partners at Elite Nutrition Omaha. Check them out at EliteNutritionOmaha.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. If you go to the store, yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
We also have Rosewood Block. They make the best cutting boards and barbecue, fully customizable. Check them out at rosewoodblock.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off there as well. If you like or hate what we're doing, like, subscribe, follow, auto-download. We're on all audio platforms, YouTubes, if you want to look at our faces.
If you want to leave shitty comments, I'm not against it. I just want them to be funny.
Yeah,
you know, put some time into it. Don't be like a slack ass.
If you're going to be a keyboard warrior, at least make it worth my time to read it.
I mean, if we can all laugh about it, then at least you accomplish something.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, because, we're just trying to help everybody be a little less shitty every day.
Yeah. Even the people who say shitty things about us, we want them to do it better.
At least I want the shitty comment to be somewhat specific. Like, he's just like, oh, you guys are fat. I'm like, fact. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's got to be good like punctuation. Like, I don't care.
No.
I'm not a fucking grammar Nazi on the internet.
Creative.
Yeah, I'm not.
But if you do spell if you do call us dumb and then spell the use wrong form of there, I'm gonna talk shit.
Or
about
your,
or two.
Yeah, if you're gonna call us dumb, then you need to make sure all your shit's right.
Yeah.
But if you're just gonna make fun of us for other reasons, I don't really care.
Yeah, if you leave a comma out, it's fine. No, I had a good question actually from a client of mine the other day, and I think it's kind of good. A lot of people probably have a problem. Is when you're looking for a gym or coach / trainer, what is the best way to go about it? And who do you refer to and get your reference points from? I personally think that number one, stop looking at everybody on Instagram. Just because they've done one powerlifting meet or one bodybuilding show or...
Oh, as a trainer?
Yeah. Yeah, doesn't mean that they... Okay, first of all, we've talked about this before, like the common denominator thing. Some people are just naturally very good at things.
Yep.
I'm not saying they don't know how to get better at something, but they're just like, I just did this. Okay, but you're a kind of a freak of nature. So kind of look at if you're going to look at Instagram, look at a bunch of different people and find the similarities.
And honestly, I mean, I wouldn't even go on social media as much as I would talk to the people around me.
Yes, talk to the people around you, but that doesn't mean they won't steer you in a bad direction either.
Yeah.
But if you're also new to the community, you might not have a lot of people around you who know much.
Yeah. So you could always do maybe like what Tanner does with the supplement shop. They might have been in the community for a while and they might know who to work with. There's different reference points. I mean, you might be able to message some people on the line.
Slide in someone's DMs.
Don't ever say that shit.
I'm being cool and young.
The thing is I've had people ask me, they're clients or friends that are traveling out of town, hey, do you know if there's any gyms like yours in this area or whatever, find a good resource like the guys at Elite FTS. Dave's been in the game for a long time. If you're looking for a gym, a specific, maybe a powerlifting gym, or he's been around forever, a bodybuilding gym, you can reach out to Elite Fitness, their customer service. They might be able, you could probably call, and they can probably, Matt Goodwin is their sales guy. I've known him for a long time. He's outfitted a ton of gyms. If you're hey, where's some gyms in this area that might have some of your equipment or vice versa? Elite used to have lists of these gyms on their site, but call there. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm looking for a powerlifting gym in Omaha. Call them.
Yeah. I think that what you should do is the first thing to do is figure out what you're trying to do.
Yes.
Are you trying to be a bodybuilder? Are you trying to be a power lifter? Do you want to go to a gym with a bunch of 15-year-olds on tripods and recording all their shit? Like some Globo gym? Are you looking for classes? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
That's what that's the first thing I would do is trying to figure out what you're looking for. I personally love this gym, and the reason I love this gym is because it has everything. It fits all the equipment I want to do. If I want to power lift, if I want to bodybuild, if I want to do accessories, if I want to do strongman, it has everything. If I was going around oh, let's check out Planet Fitness. Well, they don't have a fucking dumbbell. Or they don't have a barbell. You can't, everything is in a freaking Smith machine. So you're going to have a real hard time powerlifting at a Planet Fitness.
Now, if that's your only option, do what you can.
Yeah.
But if you have options, and like the coaching thing is hard. It's very hard because.
Right. I almost feel like you need a little. It'd be tough to make a good, like, coach choice without having some of like your own experience.
Yes. And then, you know, say if you're working with someone, you can ask them questions. Like, why do we do it this way? And if they can't readily explain why they're doing that, that could be a problem. Or if you're like, this really hurts when I do this. Like,
then you're powerlifting.
Is this wrong? You know, and like, or if someone, like you said, there's someone that you know that's been going to that gym for a while. Hey, who would you work with?
Yeah.
But the coaching thing is very hard.
Well, and I think it's different. Like, I think when you start off, you should find someone in person. Find someone that you meet. I don't think you should do an online coach when you're first starting off. If you're just first starting on how to learn how to lift in anything, I think you should just find someone in person. Know that you're probably not going to stick with them forever, you know, but it's kind of like your intro. Like, let's learn how to do some of these movements. Look for reviews, do whatever, try and get a reference from somebody. Those are all good things. Someone at the gym, whatever gym you're deciding to go to, like, just go with someone that's already there. I think the online stuff, you think you have to know what the fuck you're doing before you do that. I just think you have to have an idea before you can just go get an online coach.
Or that coach has to be like very beginner based.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if it's your first, that's the tough part. 'Cause like if you, I mean, we've all obviously trained and been around like a 24-hour fitness and kind of thing. And you see the wide variety of skill coming through there and stuff. And as a new lifter, like so one thing that was always like a tell for me, you want to lifting at like 24-hour Genesis or whatever they were, you'd see the trainers train all kinds of new people. And when you see someone do the same workout with every new person for their first thing, that to me is like an automatic. You aren't really catering anything to me. You just have this. Cause I mean, they generally always do stuff that you know is going to fucking make them sore, right? They'll just do like a shit ton of leg stuff to like make their quads like, oh yeah, real sore. Oh, you were sore for days. And it's like, yeah, but like that doesn't really mean anything because this is really my first session. So like if you see someone who does the same thing with everyone, like to me that was always a flag of just being like, they're not really catering it.
Yeah, I mean, go to that gym for a little while, watch those trainers, and see which one you think is kind of up your alley.
It's okay to fire a trainer too.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to try it out. Like, you guys golf? Yeah. Do you guys go buy the most expensive golf clubs off the rack? No, you bought something that fit your game.
Yeah, no, I'm going to look good and lose versus look bad and win.
That's true. I did buy a really nice. The golf bag I got was more expensive than all of my clubs.
Oh, so it's really funny because my golf bag was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
My clubs were really nice.
Yeah.
Play like good equipment. Like I have all this stuff. My buddy's like, why do you look like a homeless person with your golf bag? I said, because I don't care. Like my golf bag doesn't do anything.
No,
It's
I had
the
a 10-cent
clubs.
squat with $100 shoes there. Yeah, that was fucking great.
I'm just saying, like, you can make a mistake. I think I think a lot of people, I think some people get paralysis by analysis, right? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what gym to go to. I don't know what trainer to use, so I'm not going to fucking do anything, right? Like, that's worse than making a bad decision. That's worse than picking out the wrong gym or a wrong trainer, right? Because if you go to the gym, you're like, hey, I went to XYG gym, XYZ. Did I say XYG?
XYG. I know. I was like, I haven't
That's
heard
pretty
that
good.
one before.
Yeah, the outfit's different in Utah.
XY gym.
that was impressive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
That Irving education.
In cave script, it's different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have sounded like an aneurysm or something. But is my face, if I smile, does it?
It wasn't good to start with.
Okay, perfect. But if you're going to a certain gym, let's use that, and there are things that you like, there are things you don't like, you can start figuring out what you want. Like, just get started something. I think you can do some basic research and figure out where you want to go. And then also, if you get to like a Globo gym, like the new gym here in town, Vasa, like I think they have a lot of good equipment, but there's a ton of people. You know, like a ton of people. And I think some people get uncomfortable going there. Okay, well, you kind of know what you like, but you want something a little bit less crowded. Okay, go to some place that's not some big commercial Globo gym. Mm-hmm. Like there are just things that you can
And as you're in the gym, you're going to learn and adapt to different things that you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and look at, like, if you're a super newbie and you go to the gym, talk to whoever about their trainers they have there. If they've got a trainer who's been there for a year or two, you're probably going to be fine to begin starting out with.
Yeah.
Now, if you're you want a little more extra sauce with it, like look for that trainer that's probably been there for like 8 or 10 years, because he's gotten to the point where he's not going to do a bunch of stupid shit. He's not like, there's so many fads. He's been through how many fads at that point. He's going to tell you what works and doesn't work. Oh, what about this machine over here? I don't know. We can do the same thing with that fucking barbell right there, and it's going to be way more beneficial. You know, you're going to get a little more with that. But if you're new and that trainer's new, great. You guys can have fun together. He's trying to learn a bunch of cool shit, or that trainer, you guys can learn together.
And it's completely fine. Like
it's completely fine. You're probably not anything fucked up because you're new. Now just look at if they're like, hey, we're going to max out on this. Be like, you know what? I've never maxed out before, and I don't feel like today is the day. Like, but
yeah,
I think you have to have some personal accountability and do some basic research.
Some basic research. Look at,
ask some friends, ask some people that we all know people who go to the gym. You know people, like in every friend circle, there's a guy who works out or a girl who works out. Like, hey, and if they can lead you in the right direction, that's good. I mean, don't feel dumb about it. I mean, and once again, just because you start at a gym and you start with a trainer doesn't mean you're hooked, like you're not married. I promise you can just end your gym membership and get a different trainer.
It's like going to a restaurant. You're like, I don't know if I'll come back here again or not, but
But I ate and I'm full, so served its purpose.
Yeah. But on the other end of that too, also don't take advantage of these trainers' time either. Like, especially if it's a new trainer getting into it or whatever, but like if you're paying for their time. That doesn't mean every time you're in the gym, you go over to them like, hey, what do you think I should do for a workout today? And then you make them feel obligated.
Yep.
That they have to do that.
Well, and honestly, I think most people, like, having a trainer to learn some basic movements is great, but you need to learn how to exercise on your own, because that's the only way you're actually going to learn what you're doing, what feels good, what you like, what you don't like, that type of thing. If you are only doing what trainers say, you're not really learning anything. It's the same way like our nutrition software that we used to have. I used to tell you what to eat. So for breakfast, eat a half cup of oatmeal, 3 eggs, 4 egg whites, a handful of blueberries, right? taught you nothing. I taught you nothing. Right. Now I tell you what macros to eat, and I give you food suggestions, but my goal is to teach you how to do it. I want to teach you how to eat. I want to teach you if you have to run through Chick-fil-A or Arby's, like how do you make that like either A, fit your numbers, or B, just not fuck you up that much, right? Because that's real life. The same thing with a trainer. Like if you only ever work out with a trainer and you never work out on your own, I don't think you're learning a ton. For some people it's fine, and some people are just more comfortable that way, and that's completely fine too. But like if you're wanting to like explore a little bit, like, hey, okay, have your training session 1 or 2 or whatever times a week, and then a couple other times a week, work out on your own. Have them ask your trainer, hey, I'm going to work out on my own a couple days. What should I focus on? Focus on upper body, focus on lower body, get some cardio in, whatever.
But ask them that during your
session. Yeah.
No, it's not to everybody. I have people at the gym, they'll ask me things, and that's fine. But going to a trainer who is getting paid hourly or however they're doing it, like I'm here all the time, so it's whatever. But also saying, hey, do you think I should squat or deadlift today is a lot different than like, do you think I should deadlift? Okay, how many sets do you think? What I should work up to? What do you think I should do for all my accessories? Like, what should I do with this?
You could be proactive and have that conversation, like at one of your sessions, maybe like, hey, I want to work through and like build a program.
Yeah.
So maybe one of your sessions, rather than lifting, they work through and they help you build out, a 5, 6, 8 week program.
And leave it up to that trainer. Like if you just sit and talk, they might not charge you. I had plenty of conversations with clients like, nah, I'm not going to charge you for this. You know what I mean? And they'll remember those things too.
Yeah. And like to Matt's point, like, okay, hey, Brett, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to build this program. But these are the exercises I want to work on. Can we just take one session and just go through like 1 or 2 or 3 sessions and go through these exercises so I know how to do them? And then I can start doing stuff on my own. You're completely fine with that. You're setting an expectation level, right? The worst is when you're like, when you have someone come in and they like use you a couple times and they don't really tell you what's happening, and then you kind of don't see them again. It's like, you don't have to avoid me. I don't need your session.
Like if you really didn't like and didn't get anything out of it, and like this is my profession, like tell me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want this to happen to all my people.
You don't have to avoid me. And if it just wasn't, or if you were just using me to get some information, just tell me up front. Like, it doesn't change anything. You're still going to get the same stuff.
Right.
And when I think a crucial thing you can always ask if you're talking to a trainer and you're thinking about working with someone, just say like, yeah, as you're like talking, hey, I'm so-and-so, like blah, blah. What do you do for training? And if they're like, oh, I powerlift or I bodybuild, in the back of your mind, you need to kind of think they're probably going to train you similar to how they're training.
Yep. Yes. So what do you want to do?
Yeah. So if they're like, oh, I've just always done powerlifting. Okay. Well, they're probably going to train you like a powerlifter. Now, I've tried everything, not to like the fullest extent. Like I've done some Olympic lifting, but I didn't try like competitively Olympic lifting.
How long did you do CrossFit for?
I never did CrossFit because I don't believe in sacrilegious.
I only did it for 4 years, so.
But so I did some Olympic lifting. I've done I've dabbled. I've done a little bit of strongman stuff. Like I've done some all around lifting, like where you do like the Steinborn squat where the bar's on the floor and you have to put it on your back, like stuff like that. Like I got to do a lot of that cool shit. I've done powerlifting. Never really did body. Everybody does bodybuilding. I don't care who you think you are.
Yeah. I think bodybuilding is more of like the nutrition eat.
Yeah, everybody trains like a bodybuilder. That's the first thing they do. So now, if I have somebody come to me and they're like, "Hey, I want to like do like a bodybuilder style workout. Do you want to bodybuild?" No, I just like those kind of workouts. That's fine.
Cool.
Now, if they're like, "Hey, I want to bodybuild," I'm not the guy for you.
Yeah.
There's other trainers that are going to be able to get you dialed in on that. That's not my deal. But ask that trainer what they're doing or what they like to do, because that is going to tell you a lot about how your sessions are going to go.
Yep.
And you can lose weight, you can get in shape, you can be successful on a correctly written powerlifting program to lose weight. It can be done. How you structure it just has to be done differently.
Yeah. And I think the first thing you have to do is figure out what your goals are. And maybe you don't have a goal. Maybe my goal is, hey, I just want to learn how to exercise because I haven't exercised before. Right?
Yeah.
Boom. Then go find someone to help you get there. If your goal is, hey, I bench 405 pounds and I want to bench 500 pounds, well, you better find someone who can help you bench that. Like, that's not going to be just your random trainer at some random gym. You better find a specialist, because that's going to be a very special program.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure you know what you are willing to do and willing to commit to do.
Yep.
Like, you can't just be sitting one day and like, you know what? I'm going to do a bodybuilding show. And then you go talk to a trainer and they're like, hey, well, this is kind of what we need to do, blah, blah. This is going to be your diet. Yeah, I don't want to do that part. I just want to lift weights. Okay, at least that's honest.
Yeah. Right. That's totally different.
Like I just, the old, I just want to tone up. I saw the picture of this girl and I want to look like her. No, you don't. I want to look like insert whatever fitness model that they looked at. No, you don't. I've told people that. What do you mean? Do you know what this person does? First of all, they don't have a job. This is their job.
Yep.
They're sponsored by supplement companies. Now they're probably influencers on Instagram these days. They eat, sleep, drink, fitness.
Yep.
They're on a diet 99% of their life. Well, they're on a lifestyle that keeps them that lean. May or may not have some assistive supplements.
Steroids.
Yes, may or may not be involved. I'm just saying. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just saying. May or may not be involved. Are you willing to do that? I want a six pack. Do you? Do you know what that entails?
You know what cracks me up?
Without good genetics. You know what I mean?
What cracks me up is that your average person who says that, they want it for a picture. And then they're completely fine with with just having 2 or 4.
Yeah.
Right. But they just want to say, hey, I had one.
But a lot of times, not always, they're like the furthest from a six pack.
Yeah.
I just want a six pack. You're like 1,000,000% body fat right now. Like you're not even fucking close.
Yeah.
But no, just be very, like Tanner said, be very realistic. Know what you want to do.
Yeah.
And be realistic. That doesn't mean that can't change. Maybe you start with this trainer and you do and trainers need to be honest too. It's not all about sales. You got to give a fuck.
Yeah.
So like, say you start doing like, I just want to tone up, and you really like, say you like start leaning out. You're like, I think I want to do a bodybuilding show. I think it'd be kind of fun just to say I've done one. All right, cool. Well, you know what? I'm not like a bodybuilding dude. I don't know how to like fine tune it before a show, whatever. There's this guy over here. He can help you out. Or, hey, you know what? I gave you some basic nutrition stuff. You need to go see someone else who can get you
Right.
And do you guys do that dialed in for like bodybuilding shows, or do you kind of refer them to like bodybuilding nutrition?
I usually
people?
get them to a certain point, but show prep, I pass it on.
Yeah, and there's people like in the Omaha area that have been around. A lot of people know.
I can get you like there,
You get
but
to like the 12 weeks out thing before you have to show prep.
Yeah, show prep, then I just pass.
Yeah,
it.
so that's where trainers need to be honest too. Don't get this person's hopes up, and then they go to the bodybuilding show and they look like they've never fucking.
Well, and for any of you that are maybe trainers or do nutrition and stuff, any of you out there or just in business, understand that if you get someone to a certain point and then you tell them, hey, it's time to refer you on to someone else, when they have success doing that and then go do whatever else, when they come back, they don't go back to that person. They come back to you. Do you know why? Because you're the one that gave them the right information.
Well, if you treat people right and give a fuck, they'll remember that.
But it's also like you knew where your limit was.
Right.
And you listened to them, so you got them to where you could, and then you passed them on. People respect that, they understand that, and they know that you're not just trying to hustle them for another dollar.
And it needs to be like reciprocated in the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I refer someone to you, I know you're going to refer someone back, or you're going to tell them, well, why don't you go ask Brett what he thinks you should do as far as training, and then we can get this all figured out.
Yep.
But
we had a thing the other day, like one of your clients messaged me, and I just called like, okay, I just want to make sure, hey, where are we at? Like, what's going on? I don't want to screw anything up. I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. And it's just making sure that your client is taken care of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
they're paying you.
If you're working with a couple people, like one person doing this and one person doing this, you should be on the same page so that your client has the best outcome. It's not about you and it's not about the other person. It's about the client, and you want the client to have the best outcome.
Yeah, you want to take care of the client first. The money will come later.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I did have one thing that kind of ties into that. So, people that are plateauing, I see a lot of people, and a lot of people are just doing like that, like linear progression stuff, which I think is completely fine, right? I think that a lot of powerlifting, like especially with the USAPL, like they're all following the same program.
Yes,
like,
because they saw somebody on Instagram be successful with it.
But then like
you're not all John Hack.
Yeah, but every trainer in that field right now, it feels like they must just all like go to a conference, like this is what we're doing. Because they're all doing the same
thing. Let's take a vote. Okay, this is it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw out there for anyone who's like plateauing on strength. Basically, I'm just talking about strength sports. Like, I think I want to talk to you about this because I know you went out to West Side. Like, I think conjugate is the thing that breaks it up. Like, that's the thing that can move the needle because you're working so many different bars, always heavy in different forms of heavy with bands, heavy with chains. You don't even know what weight, like what weight am I doing? I have no clue because I got these two freaking bands and chains and then this bar, I don't even know what it weighs. So I'm just going to keep putting on weights until I hit my 3 rep max. So you don't have a number. You're just like, I have to feel 3, like a hard 3.
Right. Got a monster band and 80 pounds of chains and that.
This contraption. So, like, I feel like West Side, or I feel like I'd say West Side, but conjugate, right? I just call it West Side because that's
we can call it West Side. Yeah. We're American.
I feel like the West Side method on it can just break those plateaus. And I try and tell some of these kids, it's like, dude, you guys work in the same fucking plane with the same fucking bar and the same exercise every freaking day. You don't do anything different. Like, you're literally probably only strong squat, benching, and deadlift with this bar. Like, I bet you can't pick up a sandbag. You know what I mean? Or you couldn't farmers carry anything, like anything that's real life. Like, or you probably couldn't even overhead press.
Well, I think the problem is a lot of them are always in season. Like, they train like they're in season all the time. Like
they're always meat prep.
Yeah, they're always just like staying in that, like, because I think they're going to lose strength. I get that, okay? Like, you want to stay strong. But even take out like the conjugate. Ed did linear. That's all Ed ran, was linear. But ask Ed what he did in his off season. He didn't have a bunch of different bars, right? He didn't have a bunch of bars, but he would go from a low bar squat to a high bar squat in off season. He would do his overhead press instead of bench. Mm-hmm. He would do, like a different style bent over. He would change his exercises in the off season to bring up those weak points.
Like he said, any chink in the armor.
Yeah. if you want to make that stronger, because you're only as strong as that weakest point. If I find that weak point in your armor, I can kill you. You know what I mean? So, and then Louis obviously took it to a whole different extreme, and they had different bars and rotating those exercises, and those all bring strength up and do things like that. Yeah, you need to bring up weak points and do different things. There's an old like Soviet training secrets book that I read, and they were talking about like the Soviet soccer team, the girls soccer team. For a conditioning day, they would go play basketball because it neuromuscularly challenged them differently to do different things. These people are all obviously world-class athletes, but they just keep playing soccer. Well, now you take it away from your feet and you put it in your hands, and you're playing a different game, but they're conditioning and don't think about it that way. Like, that's why nobody likes to run on the treadmill, but doing like some conditioning, like do some strongman stuff. Like I was talking with one of the trainers here, and she was doing like treadmill stuff, and I was like, why? I was like, just make a big giant set. Find like 10 exercises and just fucking do them all in a row. Take a minute or two rest in between. Do them all again. Do like 3 or 4.
A minute or two rest in between the 10.
The 10, yeah. So she was talking about like a leg thing. I was like, cool. Do like some, you could do like a quick nail out circuit. You could do like some body weight squats, lunge down the turf, do some half squats, lunge back, do like some RDLs, push the prowler down and back, whatever, you know what I mean? And then take your rest. Like you don't have to go run on the treadmill.
Yep.
Do some plyos. You'll be breathing hard. But yeah, do different things. You don't get stronger by doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
That's the definition of insanity. Just doing the same thing over and over again. You don't get stronger, which a lot of these people don't do accessories either. But we've kind of trailed. We've kind of trailed way off.
Yeah, but to the plateau part,
go ahead.
I was just say, so there's a good body of research to show that you have to change stuff up. You can't just do the same thing. Partially because your body just, like they call it, I don't remember what the term was, but it's like people say your muscles just get used to it, which is only kind of true.
But more or less, it's like adaptation.
Yeah, neurologically, like your body's just like essentially bored with it. Right?
The old SAID principle.
Yeah, it's just like neurologically, your body's just kind of like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so, but if you change it, so if you've done flat bench, say you've done, I don't know, you have 6-week like mini cycles, and you've done like 3 of those, and flat bench was your thing, and you go into your 4th one, you're probably just gonna kind of be like, I don't want to flat bench anymore. Like, I'm done with it. But if you change that up to dumbbells or incline or something, now you still get the benefit of it, but you've changed that stimulus a little bit. So physically there's a better result, mentally there's a better result, and you can focus yourself into it because now it's, quote, new territory to explore. And so
go ahead.
I just think that I think when it comes to strength, like everyone thinks they have to go online to find somebody, and I don't think you really have to. I think there are people around. I think there's some good online people. I just feel like that conjugate method, and someone like you who's been out there, you've seen it, you've done it. Like, as I've gotten older, I can maintain my strength, okay, and I can get stronger. What I can't do is I can't do 10 sets of 10 and expect to do anything besides hurt myself. Okay, like I just don't have that many reps left in me. Like it's not that I can't get stronger, but like if my goal is to get stronger, I have to do it a little bit smarter. And I feel like conjugate is a little bit smarter because I get to change things and change tensions and do things instead of just pounding my head against the same wall over and over and over again. But I think a lot of these other people, you can break it up. And I think we kind of get stuck with what we feel is comfortable. And my problem with online stuff is I swear to God, they do all have conferences and they all have a fucking vote in everything. Like you just start seeing like right now, it's like you need to be in what's that, like tier 2 cardio or whatever.
The zone 2 cardio.
Zone 2. Like everyone's fucking zone 2. Like, you know what that is? It's called walking. Okay, so you could just tell people, why don't you walk? You like get some steps in, but you have to be cool. And we got to talk about zone 2. So like everyone's zone 2, everything. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like walk. Okay, next. Okay, so like they all just like feed in the same thing. And it's just annoying when there's so many other ways to break it up. And I think just having a good coach as you're progressing, we're talking about buying a coach or getting a coach, get a gym, find the gym environment you want and find a coach who gets you to your goals. And it may not be like it may be a little uncomfortable, but if you trust them, you said ask questions. At some point in time, you also just have to shut up and listen. Like as a client, shut up and listen. When you're done saying, okay, or if something hurts, tell them. But if it's just like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I need to know, though. Well, sometimes you just got to shut up and fucking listen and go through your 12 weeks and see what happens.
And not every day is going to be awesome.
No.
At the gym. And like what Matt was saying, like the mental aspect of it, that is one thing with conjugate, is you can rotate bars all the time. So you're always chasing a different dragon.
Yeah.
You're not just like every day I bench and I didn't go up this week. But okay, I benched with a regular power bar this week. Okay, the next week I used a squat bar and benched with that because it's got a different diameter to it. Your body feels it different. The following week I benched with a bully bar.
Buffalo bar.
Or buffalo bar. I did, you know what I mean? So you're constantly chasing a different dragon. So by the time you go through, and then you wind it back and say, okay, now I'm doing a straight bar, but I have a set of chains on it. You go through everything with chains on it. Then you come back. Like Louis said, you can take a single bar and have like fucking 20 different variations. So you're chasing 20 dragons instead of the one. So it takes you 20 weeks of chasing this dragon by the time you can actually come back to the other original one.
Yep.
And then hopefully you're stronger. But you need to go through some training cycles and figure out what you're doing to learn your body also. And
just let your coach and gym evolve with you. Like you don't have to be at a certain place forever. Like you can go, like you can have a certain goal and you can change. I've done everything. Done everything from marathon running to boot camps to CrossFit to strongman to powerlifting to Olympic lifting. Like just you
What
can
about
go.
Pilates?
I have done reformer Pilates. Those things are fucking hard.
Yeah.
Man. For when I did it, this little old, 50-year-old, super fit lady was like, I think I'm going to, you need to come in front. I'm like, oh my God. And she just tortured me. Just fucking tortured me. And she's like, oh, so you're pretty strong, but I don't think you can. I'm like, oh God, I'm going to do it, but I'm get done. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
This little reformer Pilates machine destroyed my life.
Yeah, do some research at first. Maybe first off, figure out what gym you want to go to. I think that's number one. Attend said gym for a couple of weeks. Kind of see the trainers, because obviously you want to see the trainers probably there when you're there, because not all trainers train at all different hours. Just depends. You see someone you have some interest in, maybe talk to them, talk to their boss, like if there's a head trainer or some of the staff, or if you talk to them, hey, what do you do for training? I think you need to know what they do for training. Because if they're like a marathon runner, they probably aren't going to help you with powerlifting very successfully.
Right.
Not saying they're not.
And if they're a powerlifter, they're probably not going to get you in marathon shit.
Yeah. There's a jack of all trades. I've trained some, but I tried to do a lot of different things. So I have trained some marathon runners. I've trained some different things that way. But ask questions, watch them, figure out if you like their style, talk to them. Maybe you think they're a piece of shit asshole. You might not get along with everybody. I always have when I've had new clients, hey, why don't you come in, see the gym, we'll talk. Maybe we don't like each other. And we can just figure it out from there.
Mm-hmm. And I think the first thing you have to do is figure out your goal before you can figure out your gym.
Yeah. Yeah, knowing your goal and knowing the gym.
Yeah.
And if you're really into it, don't be like, well, my goal is this, but I'm going to Planet Fitness because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, if your goal is to be like an elite level powerlifter, let's say you're a younger kid and you got a shot at this. You're not going to be at Planet Fitness.
Nope.
You need to find the right gym for that. You got a better chance at 24-hour fitness of being an elite level powerlifter than you do at, you know what I mean? Yep. So yeah, figure out what you want to do, find the gym, attend the gym, kind of see what the trainers are doing, talk to the trainers, go from there. If you're experienced, you want some online stuff, that's a whole different can of worms of finding a good online coach. But look at who they've trained. And then after you've been around for a while, you can kind of be like, okay, I'm kind of similar to that person. Can I do this?
And I've had some really good luck with online trainers or just generic online programs.
Yeah.
Once you know what you're doing, you can start figuring some of that stuff out.
Yeah. Or if you're just trying to find a program, like Ed said before, it's 12 weeks. What are you out?
Yep.
You got a lot of time. You could do a lot of programs in a year.
But if you do a 12-week program, that's when you just got to shut up and listen.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't really like this, so I'm not going to do it. Well, then you're not doing the fucking program.
Right. I'm going to check. How many people got simple strength and they were like, oh, well, I was doing this, but I instead of deficit deadlifts, I did this instead.
Yeah. Or, I put the weight in, like it said, like my max, but it just seemed too easy. So I made it go up. I go, what week are you on? And they're like, oh, like week 4. I go, oh, 8. So I said, okay. It's going to get tremendously worse as we go. Yeah.
I mean, I will say I made that same mistake.
Yeah. So run a program.
Figures.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, if your goal is to do like a powerlifting meet, it might be a year before you're actually like ready, if you're just going to go do a token meet, whatever, if you actually want to do a powerlifting meet, be competitive with yourself and, maybe someone that's in the same area as you, it might take a year better. By the time you get the technique kind of dialed in, figuring out a program you like. Let's say you do a program, you do all 12 weeks and you're like, I like that program, but I wonder if I change this. Okay, so make that change, run the program again. Or you're like, I fucking did not like this program at all. Find a different one.
Yep.
But you're going to have to do some research. If there's someone you super trust at the gym or at the local supplement shop or whatever, wherever you're at, talk to them. If I've been going to the same supplement shop and they've always steered me right.
Just say Elite Nutrition.
Well, if they're not in Omaha. For our
EliteNutrition.com.
dozens of listeners in other countries.
EliteNutritionOmaha.com. Did you not listen to the fucking intro?
No, I try to space that out.
But ask, if you've been going to they've been helping you out, or you have a nutrition coach, and they've been like, you trust what they have to say, they've helped you out,
Yep.
and they say, hey, this guy's a good coach. They say, well, I was looking at this guy. Well, that guy's a fucking creeper. You know what I mean? Like, if you trust what they're saying, listen to them. But it'll take a little bit of time. You're not just going to walk into a gym the first day, find the right trainer the first day. You might. Fucking odds are. Anybody that's ever worked with me did that, obviously.
Obviously.
No, but, it might take some
They
time.
won the lottery.
Yeah. It might take you a month or two to get everything kind of at least dialed in to work with your first coach or find the right gym. It might take a couple months. That's why I said, if you want to compete in anything, bodybuilding, CrossFit, Olympic lifting, powerlifting, you aren't just going to, if you've never done it, it's going to take you a year or better before you're going to do, like I think Dave Tate used to talk about, it takes like 3 years of like, if you're a good powerlifter, like it's going to take you at least 3 years of training with him to be like, hopefully be elite. That's 3 years of a commitment. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, figure out exactly what you want to do and just kind of do your research.
Yeah.
I know it's not the answer people might want, where it's just like, you know what, call this guy. He'll tell you exactly who to work with.
Well, I mean, it's good advice. I mean, ask people you know and trust, and they get you pointed in the right direction.
And you've probably been on the interwebs. Like I said, if you've been on the interwebs and we always refer, because a lot of us do powerlifting, you're into powerlifting, you've probably been on Elite FTS's site. They have gyms. Reach out to them. They can probably tell you, hey, this gym has this equipment. I know this guy at this gym. He's a good dude. Talk to him.
Yep.
Or on some bodybuilding forum. There's always a forum for something. There's always a Facebook group. Everybody's got a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
So, but do a little research. And then, like Tanner said, if you don't get along with that trainer or you don't like the way things are going, that trainer, in two ways, they should respect what you have to say. And they probably know too. Because they probably don't like you either.
Yeah.
When you're working with somebody one-on-one for like a half hour, an hour, if you like that person and if they like you.
Right.
So.
And it's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, not everyone has to like you.
Not everybody likes everybody.
And they're not they may be a dick, but they're not just a dick because they don't like you.
Yeah. So that's kind of our advice. If you're looking in the Omaha area, if you don't know, obviously you can reach out to Tanner at EliteNutritionOmaha.com, or you can just go out to the store.
He's been message me on Instagram.
Yeah, he's been around for a while.
Slide into your DMs.
Yeah.
That sounded really creepy when you said it.
You can reach out to me here at the gym. Even if you don't come here, if there's someone I know that it might work for you, I obviously will tell you.
And you can reach Matt at matt.com.
Meatspin.com.
Meet Matt.
You guys got anything else to add?
It's actually MEAT, Matt.com.
Don't do that part. You guys got anything else?
No.
You guys are useless. All right, guys. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.